good afternoon, good evening, everyone, all of you. And I'm saying that because we global up around these parts. I am Tony Blackman, and I'm here in Dakar, Senegal. And I'm excited. I'm excited because today I am presenting Coach Takia Geddes. And Takia is a co host on a podcast I started called Lyrical Meditation Cipher Podcast. We do this podcast with six, seven other really talented women. And it's all about using the art for mindfulness, for wellness. We spit fire, poetry and rhyme, sing songs, and then we have conversations. So today we're just having a conversation with Takia. And one of the things she is so good at is this concept of intention setting and guiding you to get clarity on what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go, how to sprinkle the secret sauce to make the magic happen. So, with no further ado, I want to introduce you to Kia.
Thanks, Tony. I really appreciate that beautiful welcome and introduction. It's my honor to be here with you all today. I'm very excited about today because intention really is the kind of the breath of our path, and it's the guiding force. And so I'm really passionate about helping people to awaken to the truth of their power and their ability to create that path. And when you're truly in alignment with your highest intention, magic really does happen. So today, I'm going to take you through a process of just unfolding and going deeper into the concept of really identifying the truth of what your heart is saying to you, so that you're living really by this intention led by your heart versus from past experiences, pain and trauma, and that can be unconsciously be guiding you to making the decisions that you make and taking the actions that you take. And my intention for us today is for you to leave here with greater clarity than you arrived, and with a fire and a desire to take action toward what you really truly desire to create. So I'm going to use what I have called the ACE method, which is a method of exploration, and it encompasses awareness of the truth. You know, when we're really aware, we begin to expand and deepen our effectiveness, right? Because this really opens us up to have an ability to change something. If you're not aware of it, it's very challenging to then to change it. The second aspect is clarity. When we're really clear about our aim, we increase our efficiency, right? So we become more efficient at creating what we desire, and we don't go down so many rabbit holes and beaten paths and have undesired outcomes as frequently. And you know, we can learn from all the paths that we take. So none of them are wrong. It's just about having experience that you desire to feel. And the third way that we address this kind of unfolding process is to become empowered around it. And so that then this allows us to become more authentic in our engagement and more confident in our choices. So when we are on this path of unfolding and constantly choosing, we become more consistent in our execution, and it becomes very very much our way instead of something that you're trying to do. So today we're going to get open, we're going to get clear, and then we're going to leave getting in motion. So let's together set the intention for us to get the most out of this session together. It really is willingness that is the bridge to transformation. And so when you open, you become more willing. And as we just settle into our seated positions, or if you're lying down, however you are, that is comfortable, just bring your eyes to a gentle close or a gentle gaze, something that allows you to go inside and really be with yourself. And we're just going to release any tension from the tip of our head to the tip of our toes, very intentionally releasing tension. And be kind in this process. Anything that you notice, just engage with it with curiosity. Curiosity will calm judgment. And just see any tension melting away from the bridge of your nose to your cheeks, to your shoulders, all the way down to your hips and your legs and your feet. And just take a couple of gentle breaths here, filling your belly, feeling the rise and fall, reminding you of the life inside of you. Gentle rise and fall, ebb and flow. And when you feel ready, let your attention come back to our space here together. So in this place of kind of relaxed focus, let's decide to communicate from our very highest selves today. Let's meet in this place where you and I are the same, where we're connected. You give me permission to connect to you in this place. There's no separation. If you really drop into your heart and connect to this place, there's no trying here. It's simply allowing. There's a deep connection to everything that is, and you're not so much in your physical senses. And in this place, you can be intuitive. You can really hear what's being presented for you to receive. It becomes more about your heart and less about your head. And your heart will tell your head what it desires. And then there becomes a place of this coherence and connectivity between the two. And then you are unstoppable. And magic really does unfold before you. Alignment here is everything. So, what is intuition? And it is our highest intelligence. And so, beginning to trust that and begin to trust that and show that you trust it by taking action when you get information is that, and this is really action behavior. Our self actualizing is the highest form of communication. So it tells us the truth of our beliefs and our values. So if you have an intuitive hit and then don't follow it, you're then telling yourself that you don't trust yourself. And the information is too scary to follow. And then you become afraid to take chances and take risks. And it kind of becomes a snowball effect of putting things in the way of your access to your greatest and highest intelligence. Intention is the thing that binds us to the action that we take. It guides it, it informs it, and it really is the motivation behind it. It's the deeper purpose of what we do. And it can still actually be delivered whether or not the action plan that you put in place looks like what you thought it would before you began. Right? Because the plan can change, but the intention is consistent. It's constant if it's true. And so this is where our alignment comes in. You hear this word a lot, and we're going to talk about exactly what that means, because it's not just a word to just throw around. Alignment is a real thing, and it's actually the the core of the work that we do, right? So there are three types of tension. One is psychological tension, and that's the fear that you feel. It's the unconscious way of keeping you safe, right? It also is our reaction to our triggers. Creative tension is generated when you're doing something because you love it, and there aren't any limitations on it. It simply is that you desire to do it, you love to do it, you want to see it created, and so that's why you're in it. And that means that you're not trying to get away from anything with this decision, and you're not trying to avoid feeling anything. You're simply doing it only because you love it, and that really is the only good reason to do anything. Otherwise, it's fear guaranteed. If there is some long explanation about why it has to be done or why you need to do it, there's something fear based in that conversation. If it's not the pull of your heart, it's the complexity of your head, which is replaying your past experiences. So, in this creative process, we also release the physiological tension, right? That's what we addressed in the first few moments of our time together, releasing the energy from the body of things that have been stored and not released, not fully expressed. Because whether it's joyful or it doesn't feel good, an emotion that isn't fully expressed will get trapped in your body. So, intention is the truth of our desires, and where the alignment that I spoke of has to do with your emotions. That's your head and your heart together, right? It's what you feel in your body. It's what you think, and those thoughts and feelings being in alignment, and then also aligning with your actions. The other thing that needs to be in alignment is your identity, because you have to be clear that whatever you're creating isn't going to change you. So you're not going to become something different or someone different as a result of something outside of you happening. The way that you create is that you get into resonance with the thing that you're creating, you become it before you actually see it in your 3D world. And so this is also why intention is important, because what you intend actually creates you. You become it. It's a very intimate relationship. And wonder and gratitude are beautiful experiences and things that will help your ascension. But it's very different than being surprised or feeling not worthy of what you're creating, right? If you're surprised that you were able to do it and because you didn't think you could, that you didn't deserve it, or some form of deservedness or worthiness, rather than being in wonder and gratitude because it's just divine and it's a blessing, right? That's a very different energy. And then the third thing that needs to be in alignment are your actions with your intention and your intuition. So we can take lots of actions, we can do lots of things, but if they aren't in service of our heart, then they're in service of something that we've experienced in the past, right? Our head, any kind of fear-based um, kind of creation is going to have the energy of fear in it, and usually ends with us not experiencing things that we truly desire, but rather actually outcomes that we don't really like, which is also good information. Once you get that, then you can make a different choice, right? So, still, kindness and curiosity all through the process. So, with this understanding that in order to get into alignment, we need to release what's in the way, right? Because really, the only thing keeping us from having what we desire is whatever we've placed in between us and it that keeps us from resonating with it, right? So if it's emotion, if it's thoughts from the past, if it's fear, whatever it is, we just need to let go of the energy of it so that we can walk in the wisdom of it. So make a choice. Right now, let's make a choice. What do you truly want to create from your heart space. And it may be something that you've wanted to create for a long time. It may be something that just came to you just now because you've gotten to such deep presence and coherence in this moment, in this space. It could be around your physical environment, your home, your career, money, your health. It could be around partnership or relationship, family, recreation, just having more fun. Some of us just need to have more fun. And or it could also be an internal experience of just having more joy and, having more love for self and feeling it and really feeling worthy and be in alignment with your wholeness. It doesn't have to be a physical creation. It could definitely be an experience, because no matter what you're doing, ultimately it's the experience that you are creating. It's the feeling you desire, right? The experience of the feeling is what you want in either situation. So now that you have this choice, let's just look at that choice and let's really step into it. Really allow yourself to see yourself being this choice, doing it, being in it, feel it. Put your eyes in the eyes of you that is having the experience of what you're choosing. And ask yourself, why don't I have this yet? And usually your first mind is correct. So jot that down. What came to you? What's the truth of why you don't yet have what you desire to experience? What do you believe about yourself? What assumptions have you made? What limitations have you put on yourself or the experience? What do you believe about the world? Is it a bad place? Is it a place with little kind of ability to give you the experiences you want? Is it limited? Are there rules keeping you away from it? What do you believe about other people who have what you want or something similar? Right? So these kind of thoughts that we have around ourselves and the world and the people that have what we desire, or the people in our environment that whose authority and whose opinions matter to us. What do they think about you having it? Is that playing a role in why you don't yet have it? So just imagine that what you desire is is at the end of a river, and we'll call it the river of desire. And in this river, there are these boulders that some aspect of you has put into the river. And some are larger than others. And each one of these boulders has a name. It could be not good enough. It could be I don't belong. It could be I'm not worthy. I'm not capable. I'm not perfect. And as you're moving down this river of desire toward the end result that you desire, every time you come to one of these boulders, you feel like you need to pause and fix something. Maybe you need to go read a book about boulders or get a book about spelunking because it has to do with rocks, right? Take another course. Maybe you need to have a different experience first to give you the experience that you need to have this experience, right? We can rationalize all kinds of ways, but eventually what happens is that we go back into a comfort zone and don't move forward because this boulder's in the way. And so we come up with different ways and different reasons to turn back and not do. And so we then do the thing that we decided was necessary to do. Then we go and face the boulder again, and we find ourselves oscillating, going back and forth, but never actually moving into full all in commitment to the thing in a way that's really solid in our heart. And sometimes we have so many desires that our river splits off into so many directions, we don't know which path to take. And so we camp out. We set up camp. And we then don't move in any particular direction with all of us and all of our energy put into focus in that direction. And we feel stuck. Tell me in the chat if you are, is this resonating? Have you found yourself in this type of situation before? Either feeling stuck around this choice or feeling like you go toward it, but then you back up and you decide that you can't have it just yet because something else needs to happen first. Most of us have, and this is natural and normal, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just now that you have the ability to make a different choice and to release the energy of these things that are in your way. So the other possibility of a structure that we could be in is there are no boulders and we just flow effortlessly to our end result. And that is possible. And it's accessible to you. And so we just simply need to acknowledge the patterns that we have that create this oscillation or this feeling of being stuck. And then there's more, because we've probably have all heard about releasing, right? Releasing, but that's just half of the equation, because there's a void that gets created when we let things go that will be filled. And it will either be filled with more fear or it will be filled with something you intentionally put in that place. And so just really get honest with yourself in this moment. You know, which of those things do you go to most as your way of keeping yourself from having what you desire? Is it this feeling of not being good enough? Is it this feeling of not belonging, like somehow you're the black sheep, or you just can't find a tribe that will accept you? Or you're afraid of being judged? Is it that you just don't think you can do it? And so you need more education a lot, and you just have to keep going to courses? Is it that you don't feel significant and you're looking for significance at the end of this river? Is it that you don't feel perfect enough, or the choice isn't perfect enough? You have to somehow refine it again and again before it's acceptable to put into the universe. And then there are some things that we can't see. There is this epigenetic trauma that gets passed down through our lineage that has just become how we are, so we can't see it. But if you look for patterns, you'll find them, and they'll likely show up in the different choices that you've attempted to make over time. And just notice. And you may have even noticed them in family around you. Like, that's almost how you know your family, right? Because we have similar patterns that get in the way of us creating what we desire. So what happens when we aren't able to see the things that are in our way, we end up setting goals that are actually intended to heal some wounded part of ourselves rather than just because we love it. So answer these questions. Why do I really want this choice? Why do I really want it? Ask yourself, who does it benefit for me to have this? Really get honest. Being willing to be seen in this moment, even just by yourself. Let yourself see you. What do you get that you don't have now by achieving the thing that you've chosen? Just let what comes to you come. Make a note of it. Just acknowledging it. Because the truth is, we're so powerful that when we look at something, it begins to change. So just being willing to look at it will begin to change it. And I want your consciousness today to be aware of the resistance that's in the way, so it begins to change already. Okay. So we got open. We're getting really clear now. Really clear. So I'm going to share with you some ways that many humans create ineffective choices or negative visions. They create out of a sense of scarcity rather than an abundant heart. And you just notice if any of these resonate and just let them come into your awareness so that when you look at them, they already begin to lose their grip. Sometimes we choose out of limitation. We choose only what we think is possible or reasonable, right? That's a very head centered choice. The heart is so expansive, it knows that everything is possible. And so if it's a heart centered choice, it's so expansive, you might not even believe that it's possible. So, have you chosen only what you think is possible? Or have you really leaned into an inspired choice? Sometimes we choose in out of like this space of indirectness. Like we choose a process instead of an actual thing. Like let's say we choose the end result of losing weight. But what we truly desire is to feel good about ourselves, to feel good about our bodies, right? Those are two different choices. One is a very indirect way of getting to feeling good about who you are and how you are, and one is a process. Now, the process might be part of how you get there and how you create a body that feels good to you, that you feel healthy in, and that you really, really like when you look in the mirror because it reflects your internal environment. Because usually, if we don't like the body we're in, it's because our internal environment has conflict. And that's really what we're fighting with, not actually the visual. Are you choosing this particular choice by elimination? Have you eliminated all other possibilities and then this is the one that was left? Are you choosing by default? Like you didn't make a choice before, so you feel like this is the only option. Are you making it conditional? Like, like say you want love, and you might even have a partner already, and you can say that I want a very uh, reciprocal, abundant, loving relationship with, and then you fill in a name. And just hold that space for a second and then listen to this. I desire in my heart to create a loving partnership. I choose a loving partnership. There's different energy between choosing without limitation and making it have to be about a particular person. Now, it might end up being with that same person. But even so, there's limitation if you make it have to be with that person. Because a lot of times what's underlying is a fear of having to start over or fear of rejection from the person, right? So, or rejection if you were to try to meet someone new. So there's just underlying fears that we can't see. They're in our blind spots, that it helps to negate them and not have to be part of our choice if we choose from the most expansive place from the beginning. Even if what we are choosing ends up being with the person or in the place that we desire. Are these nuances making sense to you? Because this is really the nectar, right? The nuances are the nectar of life. And, you know, subtlety has inverse power. So these little things are what make all the difference. So solutions to this kind of problem of tension that we need to let go of can either be to stop resisting what you fear. So you change your relationship with fear itself. And also another option is to get all of the parts of you on board in the same direction, have them be in harmony so that you're in alignment. And there are different ways of doing it. And I believe the most effective way that I found is definitely aligning with your source consciousness, with your highest self consciousness. So imagine that it's possible for you from your highest self to see all this resistance as if what you wanted was at the end of a field. And say it's a football field, and your highest self could just see all of these little gophers that have created these holes in your field that are keeping you from getting to your end result at the other end. And it can just tell the gophers to get off my field, and it can see all the little piles of dirt next to the holes they came out of, and it knows everything. So it knows where every grain of dirt, every granule, every mineral goes back into the hole to smooth everything over and give you an ease and flow to your end result. Imagine that that's possible. So trusting your divine wisdom can do this is part of the process. Because ultimately everything we create has to begin as a thought and then come into form. It's created twice. So if you can really trust this aspect of yourself, this highest self, it's not just a virtue coming from your highest self. It's an actual thing. It's a level of consciousness that you can approach life with that makes your choices already aligned with your truth. So lean in, let go of money, time, resources, circumstances, situations. And here's the question. If you had a year to live, what would you regret not doing? What would you regret not seeing created in this life? Write it down, because now something came to your heart. I can feel it. I got chills. Now, what if you only had a week to live? Would it still be the thing? Choices create you. You become who you are because you align vibratorily with the thing you choose to create. So take a moment now and step really, truly into this choice that you're making. See it, feel it, really choose it with every fiber of your being. I mean, see who you're with, feel it. What are the colors that are there? What are the smells that you're smelling? Just let yourself be completely enveloped and engaged fully. See you doing it, and then put your feet where your feet are doing it. Put your hands where your hands are. Lean in and put your eyes where your eyes are. Be it. Whew. Just take a moment here just to be it, be it, be it. Feel it. Every aspect of you doing it, feeling it. Knowing that it's already done. Be here with this already done energy. And then come back to us when you're ready. So how many of you had a choice that changed along the way? And how does it feel as different from the choice you started with? And you could have just even made some changes or just slight alterations to your original choice. It might not be completely different. Maybe you changed it a little, but it changed a little is a lot, right? The Leaning Tower of Pisa doesn't look crooked at the bottom. You only see it when you get to the top. So it's what happens in the foundation that makes the difference in the actualization. So any no change is small. No change is small. So you should have a really solid choice at this point. I mean, really, really solid. I wanted to think of a way to support the people who chose to show up today, and whoever was inspired to be here. And so I wanted to give you a gift just for being here, just for engaging in this process with me, whether you're live or on the replay. Um, Rituals are the secret sauce to staying aligned. So once you find the true choice and you really want to stay aligned with it, you can put in place rituals that help to keep you moving in that direction and remind you of the truth of you and keep you in the energy of what you're creating. And so I created the daily ritual blueprint, and I'm going to gift that to you today. I actually will post a link to it in the chat, and I hope you'll use it on your path to continuing to create this choice, because you can truly have whatever it is that you desire. Everything is possible. So I'm just going to wrap up here just by sharing with you the things that we really need to let go of to help us stay in alignment. Our environment, the energy from if we have people that are not contributing to the maintenance of energy in our home, whatever it is that you need to change, whether it's addressing energy in the home or in the environment at work, however it is that you need to be, you can set an intention to have an internal environment where you become the thermostat and not just the thermometer, right? It's about you being solid in your centered energy. And so you might need to change your environment if it doesn't feel good to you. And that'd be a choice, a powerful choice to make. Behaviors, the current habits that we're in, habits are unconscious, right? Rituals are a conscious choice. That's why we create rituals and not just rely on habit. We want to maintain conscious action and aligned action. Our beliefs are things that we formed in the past, but as we evolve, we come into new information. So it's a mark of an evolved being to be able to change their beliefs as new information is introduced. Family entanglements, that's that epigenetic lineage resistance that gets created to keep us safe, and like the bear knows how to climb a tree, didn't really have to learn that, right? There are certain things that are in us that we've learned that may not still apply in this day and age because they were created by 7, 8 lines of our family before us. The stories that we've defined ourselves by, we let go of these. We let go of emotions that are unexpressed, that are suppressed, even joyous ones. Energy doesn't really make, in your body, doesn't make a distinction. If it's stuck, it's stuck, whether it's joy or if it's pain. It causes a blockage in our access. And the sabotage patterns that come from internal conflict, right? That lack of head-heart coherence and that lack of thought and deed coherence. And there are rules, certain rules of our family and our personality that we've been living by that don't serve your highest intention. And so these are the things that we let go of. And then we align our identity, right? And remembering that who we are when we have the thing we desire is going to be who we are now, right? And so in order to have that, we align with that energy now. So we are who has the thing now, and then it unfolds and we see it in our 3D world. That's how creation happens. And finally, it's your feeling of incompleteness. Really understanding and stepping in and acknowledging and living in your wholeness. This is the foundation, right, of our creating in the world as a whole and expansive being. And so I want to say just thank you for being here today, whether you are live or you're on the replay. I so appreciate your presence and the energy you contributed to this session. I know that the ripples of what you brought and I brought today will help many, many people who get to listen back to this. So thank you for being here. Um, and I want to just end with us actually just stepping in and being in the energy of our truest choice that we are now open to, clear about, and willing to take action. And while you're stepping in, decide what action will you take in the next 48 hours in service of your heart's truest intention. Put it in the chat when you have it, because I'll go back and read every one. I want to know what you've chosen and what action you're taking toward making it real for you in this life experience. Peace and blessings.
And thank you to Kia. So we want to keep everyone posted. The Lyrical Meditation Cipher podcast is launching June 4th. And we've got lots to share with you. So, it's a crew, it's a collective, it's a cipher. So everybody who's a co-host is dope and has a special gift to offer. So you will get a chance to hear from everyone in 2023. We're starting with Takia because intention matters. And so does your mental health. We're also celebrating and honoring Mental Health Awareness Month. And we want to encourage you to release the stigma, to do what you can to support those of you who are in trouble, and to allow yourself to grow and to heal and to transform so you too can live your best life. All right, we thank you for tuning in on this Sunday morning. We thank Takia Geddes for rising and shining. I am Tony Blackman. Peace and blessings, y'all.